Yep, I sure do.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna actually be my goal is to have a work in progress merge request and have some discussion on this on our front end call on Tuesday. Um, Here's the situation. So we want to have front end integration specs. And what this means is that we test the whole page bundle or whole like entry point. We're testing it at that level and we just interact with the DOM. This isn't going to be mounted to a browser yet or anything like that. Like it's still going to be using JS DOM. And that stuff is nice, but it's not the main point. The main point is we want to test our components and our front end bit and integration. Mocking out the backend because backend is slow and if you've written feature specs, it's really slow. And it's no fun. So we don't do a lot of them and then we don't have good test coverage.
Yeah.
So, and like almost every web application has this architecture where it's the layered architecture. You have your front end, you have your back end, you have your database. So the goal is we have our front end and we just replace those top layers with a fake back end. That's kind of what we're trying to do right now. We kind of do it with unit tests where we do this mocking of specific Axios calls and we would mock GraphQL calls and things. But what I'm trying to do here is a little different than that. Because the project that the part of the application I started testing was the IDE, and this one is a little bit of a challenge because it makes like 7 web requests just to start up.
Okay.
And so if I was going to test this under a bunch of different contexts, I'm going to have to manually mock those calls lots of times to the point where it gets pretty unmaintainable. So going back to that architecture idea, mocking at that level is not the most profitable. If we could just replace a layer of the architecture with something fake, that's golden. And so that's the goal here is creating a mock server.
Nice. Okay, I like it.
And I kind of have it going on right now. And I've been really wrestling with this to the point where I was really discouraged yesterday, but I ended the day really encouraged after checking out Miragejs. So definitely check it out. It seems like a really cool library and people use it for lots of different reasons. And integration testing is one of the ways you can use it. But what's cool about it is you create this server and you see over down here, like in routes, like I'm specifying different endpoints that can get hit. And then this is how we resolve it. And this is all pretty simple and straightforward. But we also specify a database. It has like an in-memory database that it manages as well. And so what I'm doing is I'm loading these things through our fixtures. I'm using our JSON fixtures so that we have the same schema as our backend. But I'm doing just a little bit of overriding some properties for this specific instance. Because here's the other, and you may notice something stands out as a little weird because I have some of these things commented out and uncommented.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what's so cool about having a fake server. I can actually then just use this in my production code and test out my fake server and my components not hitting the real backend, but hitting something fake on my real GDK. And this has been super helpful for me at just debugging how do I set up my fake server. It's like, okay, what are my components trying to do? Oh, I don't have this endpoint built yet or whatever. And so this is what I'm working on. And yeah, I was going to just take it for a run and see what's failing and start trying to resolve it. And
let's do it. That is super, super cool. I absolutely love the idea. It's very similar to something I've used before. Just much simpler though. It didn't let you define an in-memory database JSON server.
Yeah.
Where you're just able to spin up these mock endpoints that you can just hit and essentially just replace the backend with a mock server that you can just once you've an agreed schema, you can just test away.
Yeah, I think, and I think that we do need to be careful. There's a trade-off that we don't want um, the gap between the fake and the real thing to get too wide.
Yeah.
But given that GitLab, has a public API, has a lot of users using the API, like we're kind of contractually obliged not to break our API, which is, I think we can kind of take advantage of. Rather than if we were starting a new project from scratch and starting to do this, I would be really concerned. I would be more concerned about a growing gap between our fake API and this real one. But it's also important to realize like this isn't the end all be all of testing. This is just another layer of testing that we're severely missing. So we should have unit tests, we should have front integration tests. We still need to have feature specs that actually hit the real backend. And then we have the whole QA team doing all the really fancy end-to-end QA tests. But man, it's hurt so much, this missing layer of front end, of missing these front end integration specs, and trying to make it so that it's just so easy to write new ones. That's the goal, is make it super easy to write new specs. And so that this fake server can be shared by all the specs. That's kind of the goal too. So I'm going to boot up the GDK and we can get jiggy with it.
Let's do it. I love it. I love anything as well that promotes like a stable contract between the front and the back end in terms of an API. It's just like, that's generally where I start anyway when we're doing features. Hey, what's the model look like? Cool.
Yeah.
Please don't change it.
And that's actually what's really cool about GraphQL. So you notice here in the mock server, while this thing is starting, you notice here in the mock server, I have a thing. There. Oh, okay. Over here in the mock server, I have a GraphQL endpoint.
Yeah.
And this is actually all that's kind of needed. So it makes an actual GraphQL request. So it's not making a request. It's resolving a GraphQL query.
Cool.
Using the schema that we auto-generate, like from our docs, which is kind of weird. It's in our docs, but it's using a real backend schema, but it's using a custom resolver. So it uses our schema is actually this Mirage database thing, and so it's using the Mirage database to find the project and returning it. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of hand-holding here, and so I'd like this to be better, but I was super stoked that it's possible. I was really nervous that it wasn't going to be possible.
That's amazing that it is. That's super cool. I mean, look, it's a start, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to work.
Yeah, that is the goal. All right, I'm going to try to hit this thing. I can smell the coffee right next to me, so if I'm waiting any longer, you might see me bail and pour me a cup.
Dude, yeah, grab a cup. I don't think it's going anywhere.
Oh gosh.
Oh no.
What in the world?
It's a good time for a cup of coffee.
I guess so. This thing, I'm concerned about it. It's taking too long.
Give it a second. Whoa.
Oh, it's worked. Oh yeah, it's working now.
Oh yeah. All right. Oh yeah, there we go.
Cool. Alrighty. Some of the challenges I ran into with this workflow was, so one of the challenges I was a little nervous about was I want to get data that looks like the database, or that looks like the real API, and so we're using fixtures for that.
Yeah, that's very impressive, I must say. The fact that you can pull in the actual fixtures.
Yeah, and I know like there's a lot of beef that our fixtures get, but it's actually like really nice. And so this is the real project data we get from these endpoints. And here I have one where I'm like returning an empty project versus just a regular one or something.
Yeah, I think a lot of the beef that the fixtures get inside is mostly just down, like, I mean, like as a person who was relatively new to the project, I mean, my difficulty with the fixtures was getting them to successfully generate, so like kind of like once they're generated and they're pulled in, like it's fire and forget, which I think would make a lot of people's lives pretty pretty better.
Yeah. And it's nice though too that yeah, locally you can run into some issues generating them, but hopefully our pipelines generate them deterministically to where, you know, even if I could still piggyback on the pipeline failing with and not actually fail something. Like that's the goal, is to not actually fail something. But some things that I ran into is like, so here you see in the fixture, like I'm hard coding. Here's my project is named Lorem Ipsum or whatever. Because I'm just hard coding some names. But over here in my mock server, you see that I've kind of replaced some of my call to just trivially get this fixture with something that's going to actually replace my path with namespace property to this specific one. And the reason I'm using this specific one is because while I'm working on this, it's really helpful when I can just see how does it actually look like my mock server.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great.
And
I like your name as well, Project Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh, no, and that's actually expected. So now I open up my console and you see Mirage consoles these things out of like, so here is a fake request and response from my Mirage server, and so this is the fixture that we responded with.
That's fantastic. Look at that. That's great.
Yeah, and I could see the request, and then here's the GraphQL request and response that's working.
Fantastic.
And it's breaking as expected because I don't have this one yet.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to get. So let's do this one now. And
let's go for it. That's fantastic. That's super cool. That is super slick.
Yeah, it seemed really neat to build with, and it seemed like, so checking out. So here I have the Mirage tabs open. Like, highly recommend checking it out because one of the where did they have it? Yeah, testing is just one use case of this kind of idea. Like they used it to like, hey, let me just work on, like, I can work on the backend and front end in parallel. Like that's another way of using this kind of fake server idea for this kind of thing. And it seems to work pretty nicely. So I've been really enjoying it. But yeah, I need to get the branch thing working. So I want to get a real branches response. And so I'm going to generate a fixture for that. And I don't really know if there's a great place other than this place for me to put it. So I think I'm going to just put it in this place. And I don't really know what I'm doing. I think I want to hit the branches API. I guess so. What does this do? Oh, see, okay, I guess I do need to put this in a totally different, yeah, I guess I need to put this in a different thing.
Yeah.
Because this is describing the project's API, and I guess I need to go to the branches one.
API, yeah, I think so. That's what I was giving out about.
Okay, let's try that out. All right, so I'll create one called API branches, and we can remove some duplication and clean some of this stuff up later. But so this is another thing, another downside with just doing things with fixtures like this is possibly going to be running into issues where like a branch contains a reference to some project data that's not actually part of my project fixture or something, because these aren't coming from a real relational database.
Yeah.
So I expect there to be some quirks, but hopefully we can just kind of overlook those quirks.
If they're not severe errors, it should be fine.
Yeah. So, all right, I guess I want to hit branches. I want to hit the get for a specific branch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of, so here I'm at projects.
You want to what? A branch, and then a branch ID, is it? Branch is, and then the branch name.
Yeah.
repository branch, and then the branch name, the branch is.
And then do you know how to get like the default repository?
Let's see now. Project. I think it's repository full URL, is it?
Oh, that's, yeah, maybe that's it. Oh, there is a default branch. Maybe it's just default branch.
Is it?
You see.
Let's see.
Nope.
Where is it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Repository branch exists. Branch.
Oh, it's on the, it looks like it's on the project. Project has a .default branch. That's it.
Let's have a look. Default branch. You are correct, good sir. It is indeed
Awesome.
at project alt_branch.
Cool. So I'm going to run this file.
I need to spend more time inside the branches.
I don't know if something that anybody wants to do.
Okay, I'm currently downloading Mirage. Let's see what we get on. Looks super slick.
So this will generate that fixture, but now while that's generating, I want to add a new route for that endpoint. So what's really cool too, and I was just talking to Winnie, and he used to be a front-end engineer at GitLab. He was doing a community contribution just recently, I guess, to look into creating Swagger, like integrating Swagger for our API.
So funny you mentioned Swagger. I was literally sitting here thinking, reminds me of like the good old Swagger days.
Yeah. So I kind of hated Swagger, but I kind of can get how it's really one. I could see a use case right here where I can use that data model that Swagger generates and reuse it here to just spin up make sure that my schema is matching that at least validate, if not generate. That would be really cool.
There was one I used. Where is it gone? Where is it gone? Oh, it was much nicer than Swagger.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was much easier to get started with. I think like.
Well, yeah, I've had problems with Swagger in the past, but no, which one were you talking about?
Where is this? Where is this? It was recommended to me by a previous backend developer I used to work with who loved Scala, and we were using Swagger because our backend was mostly in Java. But
yeah,
so nice. What was it called? What was it called? Let's see if I can find this.
But I don't really know what I'm doing here other than I think I want to create a branch.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm hacking away.
I know.
I think that's what I was looking for. It's failing on the branch endpoint there.
Yeah. So some of this I'm not a huge fan of, but I'm just trying to see if I can get this to work. So for it to work on the server, and this is something I think we can fix with Webpack Aliases. But if I'm running in the test environment, clearly I want to use get.json fixture. But if I'm not running in a test environment, I can't read from file system, so I can't use get.json fixture. I have to actually just require that actual JSON file, and that's not great. I think we can use Webpack Aliases to help out here. like so that if I'm importing from Webpack, it'll import this fixture, and if I can import the fixture um, from Jest. I don't have to use get.json fixture. I feel like I should just be able to just import the file. But that's the problem to solve at a later time, not now. Then fixtures, API, branches. Oh, it's already there. It worked. Did it work? It worked. Oh, man.
Awesome.
Okay. So instead of getting a project, I want to just get my base branch thing here. Get base branch. Okay. So I'm creating it with a default branch. Ideally, though, I would kind of have it tied to a project somehow. So I guess maybe I can. I guess I don't want to make it too fancy. So for now,
it can be generic or agnostic, we'll say.
Yeah, it's probably going to make it where it doesn't matter if a project actually has the branch or not. I just want to get the data. So I could tie it to the project by like decorating this object with like a project ID or something, but I'm actually not going to do that.
Let's leave it simple for the moment.
So the way that you get things, oh yeah, here we go. I go schema branch.
Awesome.
Is, and then I can find my, and I don't really know what my, I don't really know what this looks like. So let me click on this thing.
Yeah, let's have a look. So we have a name. Oh, nice.
I can probably just get by name.
Yeah.
So I'll just do that. Find my name, and I called it BID, but maybe I should have called it name. Okay, all right. And then I return branch, and then the schema thing kind of gives me this object wrapped in like some database stuff. So I'm just returning it, just the attributes of that kind of in-memory database object. And it should magically work with no problems.
At every developer ever.
I know, right?
It works on my machine now. That's super awesome. Oh, nice. We got something.
Something happened here.
We got a response. Ah, beautiful. That is fantastic. Look at that.
Yeah.
The whole object.
And what's so cool is
is
every test is going to be able to use this. I don't have to copy mock Axios adapter for every test.
That is super slick. Even the speed at which that was able to be put together. Like, what's that?
Yeah.
10 minutes of work? That's incredible.
Yeah. So I'm stoked about it, but it's not working.
There's a few errors, but we got there. We got. So what exactly is it giving out about? At what point does it actually?
Yeah. So this is. I got to see what's going on here.
Is
maybe it's happening because it's. There's a lot of these. Oh gosh.
Status.
I don't know why it says branch masters. I think this is an unrelated error. We don't have great error handling on the Web IDE, so I think this error is producing this message. I think it's unrelated.
Okay.
So I think we need to solve these console logs first.
Yeah.
And so this one in receive config check error, what must be happening is that we're throwing an exception, a real exception, but it's not an Axios exception, but we're expecting an Axios exception. And so I'm going to do a search for receive config check error. If I was really smart, and you have no idea how helpful this is, talking this out with you, David. If I was really smart, I would commit now.
That's a great move. I would highly recommend you do that.
I know.
Commit small, commit awesome.
receive config check error.
Let's see what this bad boy looks like. Okay, checks.js.
So this one, receive. Yeah. So see here, we like look at a response and stuff.
Yeah.
I want to do this. Like if I don't have a response,
Yeah.
I'd like to just throw E and get more information out. So let's try that out.
I'm all about more information. Let's see what we got. Do you prefer using Firefox over Chrome? Do you find it eats less memory?
Firefox is really, really improved. Like before, it used to be not as good as Chrome, but I think now it's the same. I think they're better in as far as performance goes. I think they have different performance benefits. But Firefox definitely wins in security, like in my opinion, or like privacy and stuff. And,
Nice.
Yeah, I really like Mozilla.
Oh, me too. I've always had a soft spot. Okay, so wait, what did we get? We got just an object.
That is the opposite of helpful. I probably should
that is
log something.
Yeah.
So I think I know what might be going on here.
Let's find out.
How have you been, man? I know you've been under the weather a bit.
I keep hurting myself in spectacular ways. I need to learn to stop doing that.
Yeah. Is your hand doing better?
Oh, so I went to the doc and they cut the cast off, but so I have a splint now. And typing is like okay, but he gave me one of these things, a stress ball.
Yeah.
Like, left hand, no problem. Right hand. Oh, it's gonna be a couple of weeks.
Oh gosh, wow.
Well, he was so funny. I love doctors. I always find doctors to be just like, you're sitting there and you're in a lot of pain and you're hurting, and they're just like, no big deal. You broke a wrist. Try breaking a neck.
That's hilarious.
What we got? We got Mirage undefined. Ooh, hold on. Is it actually a Mirage error?
And this is actually one that we'd expect though. So it throws this error when there's an endpoint that it's not.
This check config. Oh, okay, cool. So it's looking for the check config endpoint. That is super slick.
Yeah. So and I actually know that this thing is supposed to just return like this thing can just return. Oh my gosh, where was I? I lost it. Was I here?
Which one? The check.
Oh, here it was. Yeah. So it can return a forbidden
or no. Oh,
if status is not forbidden and it's not found. I think it can just return a 404. So let's just see what happens if we give it a 404.
Go for it.
So I'm gonna do this .get. I'm gonna star. Am I doing a post or a get? It is a post actually. Okay.
Yeah. Just gave a request. Nice.
And then I can do return. Oh, I forgot the syntax for this. Oh gosh. Okay. Response.
There you go.
There it is.
Oh, nice. Throw a new response 404.
There's a class
very
here.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a pretty. I'm really impressed with it, and this is. I was kind of dreaming of something like this, and I was so stoked that it was real.
Even the documentation is really nice. I must say.
Yeah. I don't think I need a body. I should be able to just do 404. Let's see if that works. This, I don't know what these errors are. They're kind of, but I'm a little concerned about it.
Well,
I
we
hope.
managed to fix the branch error, so that's a great start.
Yeah, these uncaught exception objects. I don't think it's gonna fly.
It's not good. We need more information. I need just even just slightly more. Give me anything. Give me a proper.
Oh, there's a pause on exceptions.
Oh, lovely. Let's do it.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, nah. You debug the same way I debug, which is I come to the debugger after I exhaust all console.log options.
Yep, yep, yeah. That's. Is it paused right now?
I I don't think so. I do not. Oh wait, is your step over active? Oh yeah, it is. Nice. Okay, so it is paused. So this is the exception. So the runners.
Your app tried to get API v4 project.
Okay, so it's trying to hit a runner.
Why in the world is it trying to hit a runner?
Is that part of the Web IDE? Is there a runner that spools in the background for anything?
Gosh, I didn't think so. Let's see. It requests a lot of stuff.
In fairness, I've only like done like 3 things inside of our Web IDE, so
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with it.
Yeah, we've got some cool theming going on.
I was about to say, when did this happen?
I know, right? Isn't this so cool?
This is deadly.
Yeah, so this is like I guess whatever your code theme is, we have on some of them like it'll theme the whole IDE that way.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Himanshu did a lot of work on that, and but did it in a way that it was easy for UX to then just for this theme, here's all the new variables, and it was just easy to add new themes for it. So that was pretty exciting.
Scroll up there. There it is under the check config.
Gosh, yeah, I guess we're hitting this thing.
So what's it trying to do? A shared runner. So there is a runner kicking off here somewhere. Wow.
I have no idea why it'd be doing that. But it looks like it returns an array. So let's just return an empty array for right now.
Go for it. Copy one of those objects and just return a handful.
Yeah, so well I could do that. And I could generate a fixture for a runner. But I'm gonna try to keep it really simple. That's API v4 projects ID runners. And what I'm going to just do is return an empty array. And let's see what happens there.
Let's see how we get on. All about empty arrays.
Oh gosh, yeah, these are all upset.
Is that? Right. Oh, we're back to the branch error. Okay, that's something. What did it? Yeah, did well. Okay, so it did get as far as the runner. What calls come after the runner call in the actual Web IDE? Is it because I'm assuming it's just probably failing on the next one, right? It probably has a few of them.
It's not that organized. I think I have to do pause on exceptions again.
I was like hoping against hope. We just like no.
Yeah, it's not. That would be nice if it was like, oh, here's our startup function, and like we fetch all our data at one step. When you have and this is why smart components they'll get you, and it makes your startup really non-deterministic if your components start fetching data and like
weird asynchronous ways.
Yeah. Firefox, I will say, you brought up Firefox and Chrome. I do tend to run into issues with the debugger in Firefox if I like leave it on for a long time. Or
I also found something that was very strange. I just took for granted with Chrome was that in Chrome's debugger you can live edit the code, the JS, and you can rerun.
Oh, really?
And I remember switching to Firefox and stepping through the debugger and then wanting to check because it just made your debugging like you don't have to go back to your like you can copy the files, so you can like a local copy of the file system and then just edit the JS right there in the console and then just like work from there, which you're like,
Yeah.
great, and now I can take my solution back to my IDE instead of like going back and forth.
Yeah, I've done that. I did that when I was like booking a flight and picking seats. Their web form was broken or whatever, so I was like, I'm just gonna edit their JavaScript and
I'm just gonna fix it. Oh yeah, when you use your powers for evil and not for good.
but yeah, I think now that you bring it up, I've noticed that isn't available in Firefox, which is a little disappointing.
See, the thing is, I've always liked Firefox. Just the thing that gets me with Firefox is just its lack of pipelines. Okay, yeah, okay, is the performance. I just always found it to be just hammersome on performance. And like, despite what people say about Chrome, I've never run into the same memory hog or like deadlock scenarios that I run into with Firefox.
Yeah, I'm clearly running into issues right now. So let's do it on Chrome.
Let's do it. Let's see if we get on any easier.
Yeah, it's the Webpack debugger stuff. I've had issues with this consistently with Firefox. If I was a responsible citizen, I would create issues or something.
Yep, that's definitely that's the role of a responsible citizen. Although I can't say I've ever had much luck with the Webpack debugger stuff. I really like it. Just it's temperamental at best, I find.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because it's a beautiful idea.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm actually getting a more information. All right, but this is interesting. Why did it like
Let's go into the config. Is it back to the config again? No, wait, what is it doing? Source branch is equal
merge
to
requests.
Oh, it's doing pagination?
Yeah, we tried to grab some merge requests pages and it didn't work out. And that is okay. We can generate the fixture for this.
Yeah, 100%. I like this. This is great. You just follow the rabbit hole, and as you develop, then they're not problems.
That's the point, and that's like super helpful. Yes, I want these red lines to tell me what to do next. Because I will lose focus.
I will lose focus, and then I will slowly lose hope.
Yep. Yeah. So I guess I want to hit over here. I want to create one called API merge requests.
Let's do it.
We got to hop off in a little bit to drink this coffee next to me.
That's a great idea. I think that coffee's been sitting there for far too long.
I know. All right, let me try this out.
Go for it. Let's see what we got.
And I think it's just API merge requests. Is that the one? Yeah, that looks like it.
That looks like it indeed. I'll be very honest. I'm still lost in like our branches file here, like trying to see.
Yeah, no, it's so like I would classify myself as a full stack developer. I've done professionally .NET full stack development. Rails and Ruby, there's still a lot of magic there. That is. I don't totally understand everything that's happening. I've learned to pick up on some patterns.
Yeah.
And I realize that it does a lot by convention.
Oh yeah.
But it's still like another language that I'm not good at speaking. It's yeah.
Just over the last the beginning of the week, I was developing a feature which by accident, I did not realize there was so much backend code until I actually hit create merge, and I hit create merge, and I was like, oh, thank God I finally got there. That was that was a hard piece of work. Why? I hit create merge, and it's like, you have changed 26 files. I was like, oh, this is not good.
Oh, nice.
And then
That's
all of a
funny.
sudden I realized I was like, oh man, I've like touched like 8 Ruby files. How did that happen?
That's funny.
Oh, it was just like, oh God, please, someone who's more qualified come in here and like review this, because
Oh yeah. So I think we just look for merge requests.
let's do it. Let's look for those
And
merges.
then we pass in, I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, nobody ever does until it goes green.
I guess so. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, that's unnecessary. I'm just assuming that there's some sort of option-y thing that suggests I use. I'm not going to have any merge requests. So then I like to look up, how do I create a merge request?
Okay.
By looking up other code.
Go for it.
Let merge request simple source project.
That sounds pretty good to me.
That sounds good. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Let's do it.
And if I do it in a let, it won't be created right away because this is like lazy created. I might do it in a, I might actually just inline it right here. Not in a let, but I'll just create this like a couple of times. Do you know how to do that in like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
I'll be honest, I do not know how to do that off the top of my head. Oh my God, I would need to Google.
All right, let's Google it real fast. Ruby repeat n times.
There we go. I think there's a do. I think there's a do syntax.
It is. Wow. And I think you can replace do's with this thing. No, maybe you can't. I thought you could.
I think there might.
I think you can.
Yeah, there's. Where did I see it recently enough? Hold on. Oh no, was that in Haml? No, Haml. I can't. I still don't know if you can share the same syntax between Ruby files and Haml files.
You can.
Yes, with that, I've definitely seen it. Where did I see it?
Yeah, we can actually look at times and see if anyone else has done this curly brace thing. Oh, they have. Yes, you could do it. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm creating 4 merge requests. And oh no, branches after already exist for this source branch. Well, yeah, you should create new branches. Oh man, okay. Alrighty. I guess I got to look up, how do I create merge requests with a source branch? Let me filter my search a little bit more. Am I able to just create branches off the fly like this?
I think you can.
Let's go for it.
I think absolutely. I think go for it and let's see what we get on.
Do I get something here?
Did anything appear?
Oh, maybe it's because I said simple.
Oh, maybe.
Let me do source branch. Oh, I added this little I thing.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That looks like it might do it.
Yeah, I still don't know what I'm doing. But let's try it out.
There's honestly no better way to find out.
That
looked interesting. Okay, cool.
Do you have you used Spring, like when you run these RSpec stuff?
Oh my God. I sat down 2 days ago with Sarah off of my team, and she showed me the joys of using Spring to run projects, to the point where she was like, did you know that if you append a line number for a context, you can just run that block?
Yes.
Like, okay, you're saving me hours of my life.
Yeah, no, for reals. This is having problems.
Okay, what's going on here? Let's see. Oh, it's given about the what unknown keyword source branch. It does not know what source branch is.
Well,
Hmm.
that's really lame.
Oh, we have source branch twice, do we?
What is this in API helpers? Oh, wait. Do I have it twice?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, source project. Sorry, source project and source branch.
It sure looks like it's using it over here.
It does look like the same thing. Create merge request, source branch, branch one. Create merge request. Create merge requests. Create merge request from. Go to spec. Create merge request on train.
All right, let me try to just simplify the problem and get rid of the fancy thing I was trying to do. And let's just create one right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking at the actual method that does that. So def create merge request and it accepts a state, and then it creates a merge request with a source project and a target project.
Oh, look, this one says generate branch. What is that? Oh gosh, I don't even know what I'm doing.
Merge request. Yeah, that's in the end. And
I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this one out, and if it doesn't work, I might try it without Spring because I know that Spring can cause issues.
That may not be the worst idea. There are so many instances of the method create merge request.
Yeah,
so many.
That's weird. It says unknown keywords, source branches. So I could try to see. We could try to look into this. Looks like it's like here in line 22.
Where does it come from? The API helpers.
An API.
API helpers. Is that an EE? That looks like an EE thing. Support helpers.
Why in the world? Oh wait. Oh no. Oh.
What's going on?
Yes. This is 100% my fault. 100% my fault. It was not here. It was over here. I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay. Looking at the wrong line. Yeah, no, that's great.
It's a good thing that I did actually look up there. Yeah, that was.
That's great. I feel much better.
Do you see how quick I was to like? Oh, Spring is obviously wrong. Like clearly, I've written everything correctly.
I love it. I just blame the technology all the time. What are you talking about? There's no such thing as a human error. It does not exist. Clearly, it must be the technology.
Obviously,
it's either what I asked it to do, obviously.
Yeah. It's not robust enough.
Hey, God.
So it should work.
Oh God, lovely. That quickly has become my favorite thing. I mean, I don't want to like volunteer to write more or spec, but like I wouldn't be mad either.
Nice. You wouldn't be mad about it. That's pretty good. All right. So let's get this going. This isn't any way that I should actually be doing this, but I'm doing it this way just for right now. And this should look different.
It's okay.
But I want to double check that this actually is returning some stuff. Oh no, it's not returning anything.
Damn it. Not a good start. Okay. But I mean,
not a good start.
I mean, at least it created the empty object. That is something.
I guess so. I kind of wish it was actually doing something.
It would be nice if it was actually doing something. I agree. I do agree.
Maybe this times thing is not working like I thought it would. Maybe I need to actually just call it. Excellent. Okay, let's try this out.
Let's see how we get on.
Okay. Okay. Oh no.
It'll be okay.
Well, I don't know what I'm doing now. Why are you?
Did anything successfully generate?
No, it was an empty array. So because I'm doing this source branch, oh, of course it's, wait. Of course it's because I'm doing the source branch thing. Yes. Okay, sorry. All right. And I see now where my naivety was coming from.
Uh-huh.
I was trying to copy this request that looked for this source branch, this source project. Oh, it looks like I should include source project.
ID is equal to, yeah.
But I'm just trying to create fixtures here.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on is, of course, I'm creating all these source branches under different branch names, and then here I am trying to request it under master. I don't need to do this for my fixture. I just need to actually just give me what they look like. And then I could do maybe some of that filtering logic at my fake server if I felt so inclined.
I like it.
I don't really need to do it though, but maybe. So I'm gonna recreate this. And now it should have stuff. The filtering things I didn't need to do in the fixture. That's what was going on.
Okay, well now we know. I absolutely love the docs on this Mirage. It's actually so lovely to read through.
Here we go.
There we go. Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with gas.
Okay, so I'm getting my merge requests. I'm gonna have a request to get them. Look like this. Merge requests. And what I could do the filtering here. Like I could see if, the project ID matched and stuff. I think. Yeah, because I think this has like project paths and stuff, I think. Yeah, it has project ID. And it has source branch. And so I do actually get these in my requests. I'm going to console log this request so I can, because I haven't ever done any query parameters here.
Okay.
I'm going to console log this request. Let me get rid of the other console logs because I know that these are working-ish, I think. Okay.
Let's go for it and see if we get on.
But this should then just return to empty array, which is nice now.
I like your prefix as well, GitLab.local.
Yeah, there's a story behind this, and I will share it after we go on debugging this.
Oh, that's a good start.
Yeah, so that's great. And then here's my request. Query params has the source branch and the source project ID. And so I think I can do an actual filter on that. So what I want to do now, let's do something fun, and let's say here I have merge request is, I don't really know what I'm doing here by saying model, but that seems to be how you specify we're going to keep track of something.
All right, let's do it.
Then I'm going to create a merge request, and we're going to get, I guess I want to do this for all of my merge requests. Like this. Okay, so now I should have a whole bunch of merge requests. And if I go here and do something like schema dot merge requests, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I need to go back to here.
What is it? What server schema?
Looking for this. You could do like, yeah, I want to do like where. So I want to do like, hey,
okay.
where the
Public.
project ID is this
Yeah.
and source branch is this. And it's gonna, I don't know what's gonna return me. So let's maybe store that in a variable and I'll console log. All right. Where project, and what did this look like? It had project ID.
Yeah, it had a project ID. It had a source branch.
Was request query params source project ID.
Source branch and a per page. Source project ID. Right.
And then the other thing, and then there's this, is there a source branch here? Oh, did I just delete everything? I did.
Yeah, it's just, and then just source underscore branch for whatever we're looking for.
Yep, it is. So I should still expect this to be an empty array.
Yeah.
But now what's kind of cool is I could change from my integration spec, I can change my URL to a different one, and I would now have, I'd be able to test at integration level some features of the IDE when I do have a merge request for this specific branch, which is what's cool, but we're not necessarily needing that right now, I know. I'm over-engineering this.
That's all right. It is the backbone of good software development. Over-engineer everything.
All right, let's see what happens.
Let's see what we get. I'm excited, if nothing else.
This is super helpful. We knocked out 4 more URLs for me, and I know I just need a couple more, and then I should be ready to go. And for something like the IDE, this is so valuable because so much of it is on. What in the world is this?
You cannot have a serializer. That's
it. I think it's upset because I tried to return. I ran into some issues with serialization stuff. It tries to do some real. So Mirage tries to follow some convention with what it expects an API to return with.
okay.
So I had to do some things like, say, hey, we're not gonna try to return. Like it would wrap all of my responses in, like if I requested a project, it would wrap it all in a JSON object with the project property.
Okay.
Trying to follow some sort of standard, and clearly we don't follow a standard. So,
oh God, okay.
So I was trying to make it so it was less opinionated here, but the bit that I'm really interested in is this thing here, where models seems to be the thing I really want to return. I don't really care about it returning this specific type. So I think that's, instead of returning just result, I want to do result.models, I think. And I think I should be good to go.
Should we have to skip the synchronization?
Yeah. Or at least skip to the point where it just starts treating it like regular JSON.
Cool. Oh, nice.
Wow. So yeah, this is great. It looks like there might be some quirkiness with our branch response, why this is still there, but I don't see any other errors here.
That's awesome, dude. That's a fantastic way to cut out a large layer of the application for testing. I'm super behind this. This looks brilliant.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait. I guess I got to resolve this thing next. I'm curious now to see what happens if I do branch 1.
That's it. What happens if we don't go to the default branch?
I wonder if it'll actually find those merge requests like I was hoping it would, or not. Oh, it didn't find the branch.
Okay.
because all right, it didn't find the branch because yeah, that branch doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
Um, so one thing that I could do. All right. Anyways, I'm just playing around now and having fun. I'm just for fun going to see what happens if I do master. Uh,
Yeah, let's do it. I'm kind of curious myself.
so my thoughts are let's use fixtures to get the schema, and
Yeah.
then from JavaScript, let's just overwrite that schema like um, with different values, whatever I may need to set up my database. Or however. See, look, and it found the merge request that matched
Beautiful.
that one. That's cool.
That's awesome,
Um,
dude. That is super awesome. All right, there's a little bit of quirkiness left, but like overall, it looks amazing. Like, yeah, I like the fact that you're getting into the console at all. It is 10 out of 10.
yeah, and yeah. So I still I haven't written a spec using this, but it should be really doable. And it's yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks so much. This is so helpful, David.
Great. This
Um,
is an awesome pairing session. I have learned so much about Mirage. This is 10 out of 10. And I love this idea. Anything that's going to like help increase the velocity of testing and reduce the burden, I am all for.
yeah, and we do so much front end heavy stuff that's like it's worth it.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. So much of the burden is absorbed on the front end, just like for million and one reasons. So whatever we can do to like stabilize, I'm all behind.
Cool. That's awesome. Hey, thanks so much, David. I'll let you go and have a great rest of the weekend and your day.
Get your
And
coffee. Your coffee must be cold. You need more hot water.
oh, it's getting lukewarm. Yeah, I better help it out. All right. I'll see you later.
This is
Bye.
great. Bye.
Thanks.